Welcome to session 3, our final session of tapping into your intuition. And today we are going to be talking about trusting the voice within. And I am so excited that you are joining me, and we are up on Facebook as well. I coach the most incredible women. And in my position, I get to hear often, either because they tell me or because I can read what's actually going on with them, that many of them really are actually very clear on the next big, bold move they want to make. And I am lucky that they'll whisper it in my ear if they won't say it to anyone else. And even sometimes I'll put a question box on Instagram and I'll say, tell me your secret. I won't share it with anyone. And I don't. But what I know is that a lot of people are actually very clear on the big dream they have for themselves, the next big move that they want to make. But a fear that no one talks about enough is the fear that if you finally trust yourself fully without a backup plan, that you'll make a wrong call. And so many of us are not going after that next big thing. And it might look like asking ourselves, what if I misread the signs? What if I waste time? What if I waste money? What if I waste energy? What if I regret it? And I live by the idea that I'd rather regret the things I've done than regret the things I haven't done. And what I want us to close out this tapping into your intuition series with is that your own intuition can never lead you astray. And for those of us that are so logic oriented, it can feel very hard to loosen our grip on strategy and control and predictability because we feel like that's the moment when things will fall apart. So I want you to do this with me, either if you're watching this live or you are watching the replay of this. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, and I'm not going to ask you, so you don't have to say it out loud, but where in your life are you pulled towards something bigger, but you haven't moved because you were afraid that you could be wrong about what that next move is? Where are you hesitating, even though you already know what you want? And this could be with work, this could be in your relationships, this could be in your body, be in anything in life. If you're really honest with yourself, can you name a thing that you really want that you are not going after because you somehow don't trust your intuition? For those of us, which I feel like is really everyone in my world, we've built success by planning and achieving and outperforming. And we've used strategy and checklists, and intuition doesn't come with any proof. And that's why it can feel so terrifying. Because what intuition asks of us is to lead ourselves before there is evidence that it is the right decision, before there is evidence that it's going to be the best next thing. But when we don't trust it, we disconnect from our deepest source of power. And now that I've been coaching for all these years and I've elevated my business and my life, and the level of coaching that I'm doing is elevated, and therefore the women around me have all risen as well. And all of the strategic moves and all of the processes and plans that we've followed have made us very successful. But what I'm sensing from a lot of the women in my world now is this disconnection because the logical side of us, the strategy is only going to get us so far. But when we disconnect from what it is we really want, especially when we know what it is, but we are not taking action steps, that's when we start to feel really stuck. And we start to feel like we need to crowdsource our decisions. And we start asking ourselves, like, maybe this is as good as it's going to get? Or have I lost my fire? I've heard my friends and my clients say, like, maybe I've just lost my spark. Maybe I don't have that drive anymore. But when we tap back into our intuition and we actually say out loud, even if it's just to ourselves, what we actually want, we start to feel that connection come back. And we realize that all of that is just fear speaking to us. And the thing we have to remind ourselves over and over again is that the results don't come first, the decision comes first. We decide that we are worthy of that thing that we want. We decide that even if it doesn't work out the way we want it to, that we will be okay. And I'm sure you've heard this before, and I see this pop up again on Instagram, and it resonates every time I see it. We've survived all of the hard moments that have faced us in our life so far. And I know that all of us have been dealt a lot of hard moments throughout our lives, and we have survived every single one of them. We can do it. You can survive even if it doesn't turn out exactly as you want it to. That is the thing that you can know for sure. So even if you feel like it feels so hard to listen to your intuition and tap into that, because what if? What if it doesn't go the way I want it to? What if it feels scary? What if it feels really hard? You can remind yourself that you have already survived all of the hardest moments that you've been through. And especially if you're in a place in your life where I am right now, where I don't have as many of those hard moments. I've worked so hard to cultivate this beautiful life that's organized and systematized, and my business is run well, and I have so much more time for expansiveness and pleasure, and I'm not in those hard moments. It can feel really hard to rock the boat or make a big decision that can disrupt all of that. And I remind myself that I've gone through some really hard stuff, and I am strong enough to weather whatever might happen. So I really want you to anchor into that. And the final piece that I want to share with you, as I've been doing so much of my own contemplation around intuition, is that it doesn't look and feel the same for all of us. And for those of you that are on any sort of journey, I hate saying that, my kids hate when I say that word, but if you are on any sort of journey around intuition, it can start to look and sound like everyone is doing the same things, meditating and listening to courses or things that will try and get you back into yourself. And what I've realized for myself personally is that is actually not how I tap into my intuition. It's not that I get quiet and I get still and like a voice comes to me. That is, that's almost when I feel the most disconnected. For me, I am the most tapped into my intuition when I am in motion, when I am actually doing the things that I love. So it could be on a coaching call, and I will just be so tapped into my intuition, either for the women that I'm coaching, like what feels like exactly the thing that they need to hear, or if I'm doing work and I'm in the flow, I will just get all of these intuitive hits of like, this is the thing, this is the next move. For me, it is very, very rare that it happens when I am sitting in stillness. So my challenge for you is to really pay attention to when do you feel like you are most tapped into your intuition. Maybe it is when no one else is around, when you've got meditative music on, when you can get into that flow. Maybe it's when you're out in nature. Maybe it's when you're in the shower, or maybe like me, it's when you're doing that thing that you are so lit up by. And I think a lot of us get hung up because we see what listening to your intuition looks like for other people, and it doesn't look like that for us. And so we feel like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I blocked? Why don't I know what the right answer is? And the truth is because you're looking for it in the places where other people find theirs and not in the places where you find it for yourself. So your intuition has never left you, even if it has felt like it has been blocked. It's been there And if you really pay attention to the decisions you've made and the moves you've made that have brought you the most joy, the most success, there was inevitably an intuitive decision that led you there. But our job now, for those of us who feel like our intuition has been so blocked by the noises around us, either the life that we've built or social media or whatever it is that feels like it's drowning out your own voice, the challenge is to remember how to hear it again. You don't have to invite it back, but I know for sure that the next level of your life won't be built by hustling harder or controlling more or trying to find the best strategy. I have another client who I'm coaching who let me know she wrapped up her 2024 taxes, that she hit seven figures in her business for the first time. And she has had all of the strategy all along. I coached her all of last year. And of course, there were some strategic enhancements that we're always working on because I do think strategy is a really important piece of building the life and the business that you want. But what was ultimately able to get her to the point of success that she was listening to her intuition and shutting down things that she just knew weren't going to work and starting other things that made no logical sense, even no financial sense, but she just had an intuition about it. And she was absolutely right. And so I know that reaching the next level is not about more control. It's not about better strategy. It is about being able to trust in yourself deeply. So I know no one's taken me up on my offers to do any live coaching. Nobody is on camera the way I have it set up. But if anyone has a question or a block that they still feel like you're listening to this and you're like, sounds great. I know that tapping into my intuition is going to be the thing that gets me to my next level. And I understand that I need to find the way for myself to be able to unblock it, but I still don't quite get it. If you have a question around that, you can feel free to drop it in the chat and I will be happy to coach you through it. Because sometimes for some of us, just looking at something in a reframe is enough to be like, that's it. Like I look at it differently and now I know the move that I need to make. For others of us, it's like, it's still sticky. It still doesn't make sense. So while you have me, I am happy to live coach you if anyone wants to drop a question about this. My wish for all of us is that we continue to anchor in to all of the success in all areas of our lives that we've created and recognize that if we desire more in any area, we absolutely deserve it. And what got us to where we are now is not going to be the thing that gets us to the next level. And it really is going to be this process of listening to our intuition, making the big, bold moves. And it's not about eliminating fear because there will always be an element of it, but it's trying to understand it and not let fear be the thing that is in the driver's seat for you. It can be a passenger. Better off like put it in the trunk. Like it's always going to be with you a little bit, but don't let fear be in the driver's seat. And I'm so excited to remind you that doors to my Foresight Mastermind are open. It is a very small group. And if you feel an intuitive desire to be in a very small group where this is the type of work we're going to be doing on a very concrete level, we're going to be looking at our intuition and how we can use it to not just like build this theoretical beautiful life, but actually apply it to the things that we are going through so that by the end of May, the end of the mastermind, you no longer feel that feeling of stuckness or like, what's my next move? Or I need more clarity. You're like, I've got it. Like I know the right questions to ask and I've got the answers. And you will be supported by me in so many ways over the month. And I had an incredible experience in a mastermind that I took where for the first time ever, really, I felt like I don't have to show up here for anyone. I don't have to do anything for anyone. All I have to do is receive, like receive support, receive the guidance, receive everything that I need. And it was the most beautiful experience. And that is my goal for this mastermind to give to all of you. a space where you just get to receive everything you need, where you don't have to show up in any proving energy, and whatever comes up for you is going to be perfect. We do have a question that I'm going to read and I'm going to answer. Okay, not a question, but I'm in a transitional place in my career, and yesterday's podcast episode lit a fire under me in a good way. So thank you. Well, I'm so glad to hear that. Cam, thank you for sharing that. If you missed yesterday's podcast episode, it was a good one. I re-listened to my episodes as well, and I feel like oftentimes when I'm giving a podcast or any coaching session, it's because I need to hear the message also, and I always listen to them back. And what's been so interesting for me is working with women of all levels, and no matter the level of success that I see some women achieve, there is still a question of like, do I deserve? Do I deserve to have more? Do I deserve to go for more? Do I deserve to ask for more? Do I deserve more support? And the answer is always yes. No matter where you are, if you feel the desire for it, then you should have that. And the thing to keep in mind, this has been a really interesting awareness for me, is we feel like, well, everyone wants all these things, so like we can't all have them. First of all, I do believe there is enough to go around. I don't believe in a scarcity mindset, but it's not true that everyone wants all these things that we want. And if you feel them, you might see that the women around you do, because you're attracted to and you're magnetized to other people that want the high level things that you want. It's not true that everyone in the world wants that. And that's why when we look around and we see that so few people have it, it's because so few people actually decide that they are worthy of the thing and then take the action steps that are going to get them where they want to go. And Kim, I'm so excited for you to see what steps you take from the fire. And I know for myself and for the women that I coach, the very best thing to start is to feel that fire and to feel let up. And then you have to take steps very quickly. Take that first next step so that you stay in the momentum, because what it does is it shows you that you respect that desire and that you trust yourself. It's not because there's a race to the finish line. There is no timeline with any of the things we're doing. There's no timeline and there's no rush. And it's not like you've got to do this now or it's never going to happen. It's not in that energy, but it is in the energy of, as soon as I realize I want something different, if I take even a small action step daily, I'm proving to myself that I trust my desires, that I trust what my next step is, and that I deserve it, and that I'm going to get it no matter what. And not because I'm going to prove, and not because there's a timeline on it, but because I know that I'm going to take action steps. They might be little every day, they might be bigger, massive, big action steps that I'm going to take, but I'm going to do the thing that is going to get me what I want. And the other thing that's so amazing about this is those little action steps not only get us in the direction we want to go, but they give us more clarity on what exactly it is that we want and what we don't want. And sometimes we realize with those action steps that, like, oh my gosh, I thought I wanted this thing because it was so far away. And now that it's within reach or it's within my grasp, I realize that's actually not the thing I want, but it's this thing. But I'm also even closer to that because I've remained in action. So that is what I want for you, Kim, and for anyone else listening who also might feel like they are super clear on something that they want. Just give yourself the gift of saying, I deserve this. And even if it's one tiny action step, and an action step for you can look like writing something in your journal. It could be saying it out loud. It could be having a conversation. Your action step today, Kim, is showing up and dropping this in the chat. Like, that's enough. The action step doesn't have to be that you're actually taking a step towards it, but it's every day you are engaged in that energy of it. The same way that in tapping into our intuition looks different for all of us. Some of us it's sitting in silence meditating, others of us it's doing the work. Same thing with action steps. For some of us it can look like staying in the contemplation of what that thing is that we want. For others of us it's the actual doing of the thing. So you know for yourself what the best next step for you will be. So trust that and take it. So thank you all for showing up here. live. Thank you for those of you who watch the replay. I am always happy to answer any questions um, that I can coach you through. So you can drop them below this Facebook Live if you're watching this on Facebook, and I will come back in and answer. And if anyone has questions about the Foresight Mastermind or any of the coaching programs that I offer, you can always shoot me a DM. My team is in my DMs along with me sometimes, but I'm also in there every day and always happy to answer any questions that you have. So you are amazing. I hope that you have a fantastic day, and I will see you all soon.